Hello everyone and welcome to the Physio TV Talk. Today we are honored to have with us Dr. Kajal Vyas, who is currently working as an assistant professor and has an extensive knowledge in the field of physiotherapy education and clinical practice. Dr. Kajal ma'am will be sharing her valuable insights on important topic assessment of diastasis recti abdominis, a condition commonly seen in the postpartum women. We are truly delighted to have her with us today to guide us through this clinical assessment. Let us warmly welcome Dr. Kajal ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rasika. As she mentioned, I am currently working at MGM Institute of Physiotherapy, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, and today's topic for Physio TV Talk will be diastasis recti assessment. Moving ahead, we'll see the objectives that we'll see the definition and pathology of diastasis recti, etiology, the causative factors, the triggering factor which leads to diastasis recti, and the main part, assessment of diastasis recti. So here you can see two pictures. First image shows a functional core where the diastasis recti is not present. In the second picture, you can see there is a gap, the pink color lining, which shows there is a gap between the two rectus abdominis muscle. Over here, I would like to focus on the linea alba. The linea alba, basically, which does not tear. It stretches and thins like overworn fabric, causing the rectus abdominis muscle to drift apart. So two rectus abdominis muscles are connected by the linea alba, which is a connective tissue lining extending from the xiphisternum to the pubic symphysis. And because of stretching, it separates the two rectus abdominis muscles apart, which shows that there is a presence of diastasis recti. So if we see the definition of diastasis recti, it is a separation of rectus abdominis muscle at the midline, which is at the linea alba. So basically, connective tissue, separation at the connective tissue. A gap wider than 2 centimeters or 2 finger width is considered significant, and anything which is equal to 2 centimeter is normal. Less than or equal to 2 centimeter is considered as normal. Now we'll see the causative factors or triggers. Now we'll see the causative factors or triggers which lead to this tissue failure, that is the stretch of the connective tissue. One factor we can see is the obstetric factor, which everyone, like this assessment is important from the point of view of third year, final year students, and obviously for MPT students as well. But most of the third year students in their initial clinical practice, they think that diastasis recti is only present in pregnant females. It is present in pregnant females, but it is not entirely true that it is only present in pregnant females. So we'll see different conditions where diastasis recti is present. Along with that, what leads to the presence of diastasis recti. So if we look at PNC females, ANC PNC females in postnatal cases, hormonal changes or along with the biomechanical changes during pregnancy leads to the laxity of the connective tissue, laxity of the linea alba, which separates the two diastasis muscle apart, the two rectus abdominis muscle apart. Another factor is multiple pregnancies. Number of pregnancy increases, that increases the chances of presence of diastasis recti because it puts more and more stretch on the linea alba. Third, unusually large growing fetus or excessive amniotic fluid again can increase the anterior force on the abdominal wall or anterior abdominal capsule, which can lead to diastasis recti. So these are the common factors which are seen during pregnancy, which can lead to diastasis recti. Another most common factor is
Sorry,
during
ma'am.
the second. Yes.
1 minute. I'm not able to see your slide which are you explaining right now. The visible
Okay.
slide is defining the separation. That slide is currently visible on the screen.
Okay. Can you just check it once now?
Yes. Trigger of tissue failure. Now I
Yes.
can able to see.
Yes. Is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am. You can.
Okay, so I was explaining the triggers of tissue failure, that is the stretch of the linea alba. As I explained, most commonly it is seen in the postnatal women and pregnant females, but it is not strict to that only. There are many other conditions when diastasis recti can be present. Over here, we have seen different triggers. That is the hormonal changes, hormone relaxin, which is responsible for the stretching, laxity of the tissues during pregnancy. Another is biomechanical changes which occur during pregnancy, multiple pregnancies, and unusually large growing fetus or excessive amniotic fluid, which puts pressure on the anterior abdominal wall and which can lead to diastasis recti. Another factor during pregnancy is during the second stage of labor when women excessively does the breath holding during the second stage of labor, which can also contribute to presence of diastasis recti. So these are the factors which we see during the antenatal or postnatal period. But other factors due to biomechanical factors could be obesity, which is not only seen in female but in males as well, and high BMI. Inadequate core exercise regimens if the person is not adequately doing exercises, which can also be one of the factor for its presence. And age-related tissue degeneration can also lead to connective tissue thinning, which can lead to diastasis recti. Now, moving on to the next slide. As we have discussed, that postnatal females, it is very common that the diastasis recti is present in postnatal females. So, by the recent advances, recent research, it has shown that 30 to 60% postnatal females have presence of diastasis recti.
Ma'am, again the same problem.
Okay. Now, is it visible?
No. Triggers
Okay.
of tissue failure is visible only.
Now,
No. Could you please go back and then go forward?
okay, I'll try it once. Now I am on to the next slide.
No, no, there is no change of slide. Yes, there is 30 to 60%
Yes,
slide is visible now.
yes, yes.
Again,
Is it?
again, trigger of tissue. Wala slide is.
Okay.
I guess something network issue is there.
Yeah, network is full actually, but yeah, maybe.
Yes, yes. Now I can see the 30 to 60%.
Is it still there?
Yes, 30 to 60% slide is
Yes.
visible on the screen. Yes.
Okay, I'll ask you before I change the slide once again.
Yes, 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 please.
Yes. So, continuing with this slide shows that in recent advances, we have seen that 30 to 60% of females have presence of diastasis recti in the postpartum period. Now, moving forward, going to the next slide. Now, is my slide visible?
No, no.
Okay.
Still
Now?
not. No.
Okay.
Yes. Not just cosmetic, the functional impact.
Okay. Now?
I am able to see the supportive cylinder concept
Yes, yes, I
slide.
wanted the slide only. So is this slide there? The supportive cylinder
Yes,
concept?
yes, yes, I can see
Okay,
that.
yes. So now moving on forward to the core, which is the supportive cylinder, which is explained by the supportive cylinder concept. The core is not just a flat wall in the front of the body. It is a pressurized cylinder that stabilizes the trunk, the lumbar region, as well as the pelvic region. So when the anterior abdominal wall loses its tension and become weak, the entire structure become destabilized. If you see from the forward, if the abdominal wall becomes weak, it is going to destabilize and it is going to have an impact on the lumbar region as well as on the pelvic floor. So deficiency of this can lead to many activity limitation, can lead to back pain, can lead to pelvic floor dysfunctions, which we'll see in the further slides. So my main concern was that it is not just a cosmetic concern, but it is a functional concern as well. So we'll see how it is going to put impact on the functional activities. As we have seen, if the core is weakened, it destabilizes and it can put an impact on the low back region. So if the core muscles are weak, it can lead to low back pain, and it can also cause an impact on the pelvic floor, which can lead to incontinence or various pelvic floor dysfunction. So whenever a patient comes to you with low back pain, you have to correlate it with the core, the pelvic floor. You have to assess the core as well as the pelvic floor and plan your treatment accordingly. Moving on to the next slide, which is about the clinical significance. Uh, Now, please let me know if the slide is visible. Clinical significance.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yes, now it is visible.
Clinical significance.
Yes.
So next part is about the clinical significance. Till now we have seen what is diastasis recti. The second point was about the triggers, the causative factors of diastasis recti. Now we are going to see why is it important to assess this diastasis recti. If diastasis recti is not assessed, anyways it is going to lead to activity limitation, which is because of the separation. The separation, it alters the core mechanics and which can lead to weakness and instability, as we have seen in the pressurized cylinder concept. It can also lead to limitations in the activity in a form like the person may have difficulty in doing the transfer supine to sit because rectus abdominis muscles contribute to the trunk flexion. So first point in the clinical significance is it could lead to activity limitation, maybe because of pain, maybe because of the dysfunction, or maybe because of the weakness of that particular muscle, which leads to instability in the various joints. Next is it can lead to decreased fetal protection because of the loss of integrity of the anterior abdominal wall. When the rectus abdominis muscles are intact, the core is intact, there is a cushion-like feature, cushion-like structure which is present on the anterior abdominal wall, which protects the fetus. But when diastasis recti is present, this particular cushioning effect is gone, and there is direct chances of direct trauma is there. The chances of injury could be more. That's why it can lead to decreased fetal protection. Another point is it can lead to it is a potential for herniation. If there is midline connective tissue thinning and weakness, it can lead to structures of the peritoneum coming out, which is potential for herniation in this case.